Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Under the Hood Ask a Pro, where we're live every Thursday at 3 o'clock to answer your automotive car questions. So, hope everyone's having a... Well, I'm not even in the picture here. Hold on, let's turn some stuff around. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday. It is warm, finally, here, at least for today. As you can see, here in a little bit, we have the garage doors open. So feel free, if anyone has any questions, please comment them now. I'll get to them in just a few. Of course, if you're not watching this live, also comment and we'll answer them here live next week. I'm starting down here because I want to show you something kind of interesting here in the shop. Had a car that was having some weird electrical problems. End up tracing some wiring back, without getting super technical here, to actually a engine harness. And this engine harness was actually melted. So as you can see, let's get closer, the whole entire harness, and even way up here, it just completely melted. This was actually way down in there on top of the transmission. This one is actually going to need a complete wiring harness. Sometimes we can actually get into a car if it has a wiring harness problem and repair the damaged wires. This one, where there's so much damage, it just wouldn't be the right repair. We could go in here and spend hours and hours trying to repair, probably, I guess, 30 or 40 wires. But then you have to worry about reliability. Since the systems use specific voltages with 5-volt references and certain ohm readings, we could actually go in there and disturb it, then have to go back in and do another repair if they're off. So in this situation, it's going to need a whole complete engine wiring harness. So I thought that was something pretty cool I'd share with you. Today's topic, well, before we get that, like I said, if you're not watching this live, comment. If you don't want to comment on our page, send us a PM. And I actually got one from Chris. And his question was, is it worth putting nitrogen in your tires? And if you don't know what nitrogen is, some tires stores, you have the option of just regular air, or you can put nitrogen. And what that is stemmed from is you see it with race cars. So race cars would put nitrogen in their tires because as they build up heat, has less oxygen in it, they don't expand, or it doesn't create much pressure as fast as regular air. Also, the molecules are actually larger as opposed to the air molecules. So sometimes you'll get some seepage, and I'll show you on this one. You'll have some seepage from around the bead where it's sealed, or if you have a flat. Over time, it can penetrate through the actual sidewall of the rubber. More commonly, you either have a leak, or you can actually have it leaking from the valve stems, either where they seal onto the rim, or in the valve cap. And it's just what we call a Schrader valve, and they have a little seal. See if I can get a little closer here for you. A little seal, that little red spot. Let's see if it'll focus. There it goes. That little red spot is actually the seal. These are very, very inexpensive. So it could be something simple as that. So the question is it worth it? We don't use nitrogen here. That would be additional expense as of installing tires. Commonly, it's about, I think it's $30 a tire if you go to a tire store. When it first came out, we had a lot of customers that did use it. The convenience is what I would say no. Because say you need air in your tire, you're running late, you're going to have to stop by a gas station, you can't get nitrogen. Not every repair shop carries nitrogen, so then you run into that risk. Or you're getting your car serviced somewhere, you have nitrogen, you didn't tell them, now all of a sudden we're mixing it, so it's not a full charge of nitrogen. And even if you get nitrogen put in your tires at a tire store, you're only getting like a 93% nitrogen inside the tire. With the air we breathe, I think it's 78% nitrogen in the air we breathe. So there's already nitrogen in this tire if we just inflate it normally. Like I said, when it first came out, a lot of customers were using nitrogen. It's very few that we see. So I don't personally think it's worth the extra money, but there are some advantages because it doesn't leak out as fast. It doesn't, the temperature swings that we have here in Kentucky It's not affected as much by it as the oxygen level. So there is a purpose for it. For me personally, the convenience of it is probably not worth it. So thank you, Chris, for sending me that message. But today what we're going to talk about is potholes. And it's the season. If you've been driving around here in Lexington, you know. Right past, I take the interstate home, past Hamburg going south, there's gigantic potholes. And you can just see everyone just swerving around them. So the number one thing we can do to prevent damage from your vehicle is, number one, the tire pressure. If we have too high of a tire pressure and we hit a big pothole, what you're going to do is hurt the sidewall of the tire. Another thing is if it's too low and we hit a big pothole, not only will it hurt the sidewall, it can damage the rim. And here I have an example of one that hit a big pothole. And as you can see, it has a giant gash in the sidewall. It actually has two. What they also decided to do was keep on driving the car because they didn't have any spare. If we look inside, it just totally damaged it. I think there's a section here. Yeah, the whole tread came off, which I do not recommend driving a car with a tire in this condition. He had no option with the spare. He didn't feel like changing it, so he drove it to us. I would tow it. I think that would probably be the safe thing to do. So let's make sure we have the correct tire pressures. Also, let's keep a safe distance between cars in front of us. So if all of a sudden we're driving down the road and someone sees a pothole and slams on the brakes and starts turning, you want to increase the stopping distance so we're avoiding accidents. So let's keep that in mind. And also with the distance and stopping distance, we want to be sure our speed. It's bad. You know where the sections are. We typically drive the same roads every day. If we hit a big pothole going slow and we just drive over it, it doesn't cause near as much damage as if we're going 70 miles an hour and we smash into a gigantic pothole. So those two items. Another way is if we do hit a pothole, we need to pay attention to a few things. That would be how the car is driving and wheel position and any noises. So if we did cause some damage or now all of a sudden our alignment's off, we need to take care of this now before either we A, break something and lose control of the vehicle, or we damage our tires. It could be something simple as just the alignment got knocked off, so we just need to get it to alignment. I'll show you here on this vehicle here, maybe a alignment type issue that probably should have been addressed beforehand. And then the final thing would be to report any large potholes. So I don't know how many people here from out of state that watch this show. If you do, comment your state and let me know. And that way maybe I can kind of have some topics to deal with your state if you're either further north or if you are further south. Here in Lexington, I think it's Lex Call. You call 311. So if there's a big pothole and you see cars, swerving and trying to get around them, call them and maybe they can correct that. But so to stay in tune with your car, I'll show you this car back here. And as we're looking at the tire wear, so you can see not only is this tire cracking and needs to be replaced, but we have tread, and then we're almost gone on the tread. And these are wear indicators. So we have some kind of alignment issue that's just wearing this side of the tire. So we'll just go into alignments just a little bit. And there's three things that we kind of look at when looking at alignments. That is caster, camber, and toe. So caster would be, what's kind of show on this tire just, so if we have a driveline angle of where the strut goes in the straight ahead position, so we have positive going to the front or negative going to the back. And what camber we want that for is returnability of the steering. So as we make a turn and we let go of the wheel, camber kind of brings it back. Or caster, excuse me. Camber is actually the tilting of the tire. So it'd be this way. And that could be an effect of why this tire wore. It has a little too much caster and it's wearing just that edge. This is actually my truck, I'll confess. I need alignment, but I'm getting my tires soon. it's actually toe. I have a little toe problem, so that tire is actually kicked in just a little bit, and it's actually wearing just that outer side of the tire. It's almost like that one wheel's turned in just a little bit. So haven't got my alignment done yet because I'm waiting for the tires. So I've known about this for a little bit. I've just been putting it off, kind of like most people that have repairs. So we're going to cut it a little short today. We are, with the weather being so warm, we are super busy here. So if you have any questions, comment them. I'll get to them live next week. If there's some topics you would like me to talk about, feel free to just let me know. And if you don't want to comment in the section, personal message us. We get them and respond immediately. Maybe we can talk about it next week. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. Drive safe. Bye.